All right, this is the Week 8 training tape. It will be the last training tape of the regular season. Before we get into any plays, I just want to thank everyone for their effort and commitment this year. For the most part, we're all buying into the mechanics and what's expected of us, and it has shown on the field and through discussions with the administrators and coaches. They're very appreciative of those of you who are really communicating with the coaches to explain the fouls, because it makes it a lot easier for them to coach their players. And when they see what you explain to them and then they watch it on the film, they're able to process it a little better and understand that we were in the right position and we did make the correct call, even when it is inconclusive on the film. So it really does mean a lot when we do explain things. And going forward, for those who have the fortunate opportunity to work in the playoffs, best of luck to you all. And I know whoever is chosen has earned that right through their performance in the season. So it's a good job by everyone. So all right, so we have 22 plays. And don't get excited, 10 of which are kind of a 2-minute drill. I got a lot of good feedback on last week's tape. We're going to go through some processes that we should be going through in a 2-minute drill. And, that'll be at the end of the tape. So if you really don't want to watch the first set of plays, I'd just fast forward to near the end of the tape and watch the 2-minute drill, because this is something we should all be focusing on in our pregame, because this is when we make our money. All right, this first play, it's just mechanics, right? We're snapping the ball from the 42-yard line. Our deep officials should be located on the pylon, which they are in this situation. And there's a few other things that we should be going through our mind in this situation. So we have a 4th down and 1, 2, 3, about 3 yards, right? So we should be communicating with our referee that we have a short 5. Short 5 meaning that 5-yard penalties, such as encroachments, will give us a first down. So if we come in and communicate that to the referee, they don't even have to look to see if we have a first down. The other thing that will go on a first down is our running into the kicker. So as we progress through our development as an official, these things are crucial and will help us officiate the game better, and also like putting the line to gain in our head. If we're standing here, I'm thinking to myself as a wing official, I'm at the 42 and I got to get to the 39-yard line. All right, as you'll see on this punt, it's a punt where it bounces, and then it caroms towards the goal line. But take a look at the mechanics at the top of the screen. So immediately our side judge leaves the goal line. And, I'm pretty sure that the field judge at the bottom of the screen is still on the goal line, but we cannot be so quick to leave the goal line. The ball is still in the air, and what we're doing is we're watching the kick returner. Great. We see the fair catch call by the kick returner. We could still stay put here because we can officiate this fair catch from where we are. But what we don't want to happen is what happens here is the ball caroms towards the goal line. Does it cross the plane? Does 17 carry it across the plane? Just be patient in our mechanics and trust them that they're going to get us the right result. All right, this next play is a little bit of a repeat of the last play of the last training tape. So here we are, we're snapping at about the, looks like, I'm going to say here's the line as my squiggly line goes through there. We're about the 32 to 33 yard line. And actually the 33 if you look at the foot of that wide receiver. So when we have a punt play, we know that if the ball goes across the line of scrimmage, however, caroms back and behind, it's still a live ball that the offense can advance. And even if the ball is at the line of scrimmage, it is deemed to not cross the line of scrimmage if it's at the point of where the recovery is. So what we'll know here is the people who should be ruling on this are the two officials. It would be the line judge, or the line judge in that case, and the head linesman at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to run this play through, and we'll talk about it afterwards. So we have a punt that looks like it's partially blocked behind the line of scrimmage, hits beyond and caroms back. And number 17 picks it up, right? And then we have the umpire, and we have one of the line of scrimmage officials at the top of the screen killing the clock. So since I'm not really exactly sure where the line of scrimmage is, but what I do want to say is if the ball is first touched there, okay, right at the, looks like the 34-yard line. If that is a yard past the line of scrimmage, then immediately what we should be doing is we should have a beanbag in this situation because we have first touching, or in that situation, because if that player touches the ball and then the offense picks it up and runs it and fumbles, then we always know we can come back to here in lieu of a penalty. But what I want to be very careful of is signaling in this situation. So he picks it up. Is it across the line of scrimmage? You know, it appears to be, because the line of scrimmage was the 33-yard line, but we have the umpire killing the clock. Umpires, we don't want to mirror signals. Allow the line of scrimmage officials to make that call in that situation, because they have the perspective of the line of scrimmage in here. Because, you know, if 17 picks up the ball and the line of scrimmage official who's at the bottom of the screen is still on the line and sees that the ball is still touching the line of scrimmage and picks it up and run, and we're killing the clock, we're in a whole heck of a bunch of trouble here. But if the line of scrimmage official then sees it, picks it up, and deems it to be beyond the line of scrimmage, he or she should throw their beanbag there and come up and kill the clock in that situation. So again, just be patient in these situations and allow the people who own the call make the call in this situation. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't provide help later, but just be patient and officiate the play the way that we're teaching. This next play is just a microcosm of what I'm seeing with referees. So let's just take a look at the initial position of the referee. The ball snapped at the 19-yard line, and we're standing on the 35, which puts us 16 yards behind the play. You know, I'd like to see up about 2 or 3 yards in this situation, and the width is good. But what we'll see here is we'll see that there's a pitch to the running back, and you saw immediately the referee start sprinting towards the other side of the field. When we have situations such like this, so we have the ball pitched, what our referee should be doing is working backside here while the umpire works front side here. So we can take a few steps laterally to help us officiate this play a little bit better. We should not be sprinting towards that because A, it's not the quarterback, so that's not our responsibility. Because what happens if the quarterback rolls here and gets cheap shotted behind the play? The only person who can possibly see it is this official here. But you can see that as the referee's running, we just have players on the ground with 4 people watching that pile and only 2 watching what's going on behind the play. So referees, just be a little bit patient. Again, that's the mantra of the day. You can move laterally a little bit, but you don't need to sprint when the running back has the ball and it's going away from you, because even if you are watching backside, your eyes are moving and you're not going to be able to officiate the play to the best ability. All right, handling situations in this case. So again, I talked earlier about knowing what the down and distance is here. So we're snapping the ball and we're on the lined field here. So the point of the ball right here is on the 36-yard line. You can see that they have to get to the 41 to get to a first down. So we know that we are in a short 5 situation, and that's where something you can communicate through an O2O, which means 5 yards gets you the first down. And you know why I bring this up is because what we have here is we have the defense lined up in the neutral zone here, and you'll see the line judge at the bottom of the screen throw the flag. Again, he's running in. We should kill the clock, but luckily our partner in crime at the top of the screen is killing the clock, and he comes in and says he has an encroachment. So what he should be telling the referee is, after he throws the flag, kills the clock, and gives a preliminary signal like he does, is I have encroachment on the defense, number such and such. That 5-yard penalty will result in a first down. Okay, that just allows for the flow of the game, and in this game they had a microphone, so you know it just gives the presence like, wow, these 6 officials really have it going on. They know the line to gain, they know what's going on here, so it moves the game along smoother, because then the umpire is going to come up, get the ball, march 5 yards. And as the head linesman hears that, he or she already knows that 5 yards will get him a first down. He's telling the chain crew to move. So when we mark the ball at the 41-yard line and we put it down, the referee's either ready to chop it in and wind or just chop it in. And we already have the stick set, the ball down, and we're ready to go. All right, next situation, onside kick here. And, look what happens here. Onside kick. and the side judge is ready, willing, and able to make a call on the play, and he does. He kills the clock and points right away. Again, just be a little bit more patient here. I know you're excited. Okay, we don't want a banana here in this situation, because if that ball's still rolling around and players are diving, our knees don't give backwards. Okay, so I don't want you all to get hurt. We'd like to see you just come down here and L off the spot and take a look at what's going on. But overall, this side judge wasn't unexpected to him, because he was ready to officiate this play. He sees and recovers and points, and also the crew did a good job. Somebody took a second off the clock, which we should have done here. So it's not, the person who's making this call has a lot going through their head in this situation. So somebody on the crew was aware enough to get 1 second off the clock, and it was really good officiating here. So this next play, I want you to take a look at what this player does here. And I know the film's a little fuzzy, but that player, opening kickoff, starts squatting down, right? And I don't know about you, but to me that seems pretty fishy, and seems like there's something going on here. So what you'll see here is he's squatting down because that guy who catches the ball and subsequently muffs it throws a backwards pass the entire way across the field. Now you're going to be questioning whether or not that is a backwards pass, and if you slow it down frame by frame, it looks like it's either exactly on the line of scrimmage or maybe a hair back. But the reason about this is, if you see this situation, this is deception. This is just as bad as the receiver or the kick returner laying in the end zone trying to blend in with the purple because their uniforms are purple. And this would be a live ball foul for deception in this situation, because if they don't kick it, then we don't have a foul. It's not a foul until the ball is kicked. So as we entered in the last week of season, and we have some teams who have playoff positions to play for and others who are just playing for the pride of the game, you might start seeing some of these trick plays uncovered in your game. So that's a good part, to talk about in your pregame. But situations like this one right here is deception and would be called. All right, next play. Again, basic responsibilities, and we're going to take a look at, it's going to be a kickoff return for a touchdown. But if we do our basic responsibilities, we catch a foul that's in the middle of the field for an illegal block in the back. And, umpires, you're very important in this situation, because that middle of the field is really just blind, especially on a kick like this, because of what's going on. And you could see it happen about the 25-yard line. And I'll rewind it a bit further and I'll point it out. So it's going to come into your screen right in here. Okay, and why I say how important it is for the umpires is, you got the deep wings working here and here. Okay, line of scrimmage officials are going to catch what's coming up the chute, as is the referee. So that leaves all that stuff behind the play to you. Okay, so you can see here, it's a push in the back right at the point of the attack, and that player could have made a play on the ball. So let's work on our basic responsibilities here, know our keys, especially on kickoffs and punts, to be able to get situations like this. All right, next play, we're going to talk about forward progress. So here we go. We are third down and looks like 2 at the 41-yard line. We know we have a short 5 because 5 gets us 1. Quarterback sneak right up the middle. So right about this point right here, we should be blowing the whistle. And you can see actually the referee, who should not be the one calling forward progress. It appears that this official also here is blowing the whistle. And then what you'll see happen here is subsequently the quarterback sneaks falls across to the line to gain, which unfortunately we do give them the line to gain in this situation, where we have the play that should be killed right about here, blowing our whistle, and then they fall forward. So when we have our whistle blown, no matter who it is, and we should be leaving this to the line of scrimmage officials, we should be running in right here and spotting the ball. We can't let them have that fall forward in this situation. Okay, so let's not make this into a rugby scrum either, because there has to be a clock that goes off in your head. All right, he's surrounded. He's not going anywhere. Play's over now. The play's over. The play's over. The play's over. Come in, blow your whistle, and stop it there. All right. Next play is a good officiating for patience. So we'll pass over the middle, catch, gets tackled, and all of a sudden the ball comes out and the ball gets returned the other way. And, if we don't see a body part down and the ball pops out, we have to assume that it's a fumble. And in this situation, what you'll see is, and as I rewind it back and slow it down a little bit more, unfortunately that you all don't have that in the field. So we have a catch, body part down, act common to the game. The receiver gets tackled on top of a defender and the ball is out. Okay? And the person that calls this the fumble is the field judge, who has perfect view of this. The line judge does a really good job keeping off his whistle because he can't see through these players. Maybe the umpire has a view of it. The umpire doesn't blow the whistle. So we have the umpire and we have the field judge who both say that the ball was fumbled because he was on top of the defender. And this is just a great job of being patient as a crew and officiating the play. All right, consistency. You hear the coaches harp on you about this. Here's a situation where we call legal formation, and the ball snapped here at the 39-yard line, and it's called at the bottom of the screen. So we have a person with their toe on the 40 here, and we have a person with their toe on their 40 here. Yet we deem that one of these players is off and the other one is on. And this is where it's really hard to understand, and you can appreciate a coach's perspective whenever situations like this occur. Number 25 at the bottom of the screen wants to be on the line of scrimmage. He's actually further forward than the tackle who is down with his hand down right on the other side of the 25. So let's make these fouls clear and obvious in this situation. There's a clear and obvious stagger here between this person and this person. Now, if this person was lined up back a yard, I get it, but you look at this formation and you say to yourself, who are the four people? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's obvious that those four in the backfield, those other two, you can say that they're on the line of scrimmage. So let's work on our consistency. Put your foot out and tell the receivers, this is my foot is the line. If they're off a little bit, talk to them unless it's clear and obvious, which it is not in this situation. All right, next play, we're going to take a look at what happens, and this is a tough situation for a line of scrimmage official, because right here you have these two players right there. The side judge or field judge has that player right here. So this is where we have to play a game as a wing of who becomes threatened first, okay? So I'm going to play the play. I want you to take a look at the number 3 receiver and what happens to him in that situation. So then the ball is thrown away. So this is a good situation to talk about because referees, as you know, the trips to become your side, so you're going to be favoring this tackle. So your line of scrimmage person is going to be focusing right in here. Okay? So as we take the play and start the play, the first contact occurs right here. So if you were the head linesman or line judge at the top of the screen, that is where your eyes should go, right to that matchup, because that's the area of first contact. Field judge and side judge, you're probably looking at here for something that could occur with your receiver who's coming back towards the middle of the field. Now, I don't know if this, it's hard to tell with the film, but it looks like there's a slight pull down on that wide receiver. I don't know if the wing official did see it and decided not to call it, but that would be something that we want to be able to process in our mind, whether or not that is defensive holding in that situation. And, whenever you have two receivers that you're looking at in this situation, go to the receiver who first becomes threatened. And in this case, it's the number 3 receiver. All right, we're going to start our 2-minute drill. These are our last bunch of plays. So we have 2 minutes on the clock. The team on offense has, I think, 0 points, either 10 or 0, but it doesn't matter. They're trying to score. It's the end of the first half. So we have a pitch to the outside that gets a first down. So here we go. We have the ball down beyond the line to gain, and we're under 2 minutes. So what I'm going to tell you right here is, referees, we have to be a little bit more patient to wind the clock here. So, because what you can see is the umpire still has the ball in his hand and hasn't put it down yet. We want to wait under 2 minutes until the ball is down to wind the clock, okay? So as we move to the next play, we still have a running clock with 1 minute and 33 seconds to go. It's first down and 10. We're snapping from the 33. We got to get to the 33 to the 43-yard line. We get a run up the middle, a long run, which then goes out of bounds. So now we can take a breath, okay, because the game clock is stopped and it is not going to restart until the next step. This is a situation where we can get a new ball in. If it's a muddy situation or a wet situation, we don't have to necessarily be in a hurry to get the new ball in. So we're at 124. Trips to the bottom side of the field. So if I'm this wing official right here, I know I have these two players right here, and I know my referee is working the tackle on my side. Head linesman has to understand because they're working on the tackle on their side because of the formation that's going on here. So we get a pass, and it's thrown, hit, and driven backwards, and what a good job here by this wing official, winding the clock. You know, we like to give the benefit of the doubt if the receiver is trying to get out of bounds. If they try to get out of bounds and it's lateral or a little bit backwards, we're going to kill the clock. But in this situation, we have a clear hit and bounds and driven backwards and a good wind. The clock's still going, and then we have a timeout called, and the clock stops because you can see that the line of scrimmage official's looking at the clock in this situation, or somebody should be looking at the clock. But the one thing I wanted to bring up here is when we have this situation here, we need to get the umpires got to get moving a little bit less because we want to stop. So umpire right now sprinting out like he is because we do not want to be throwing the ball all over the field. Okay, so you're running in, throwing it in, killing the clock. Because the last thing we want to do is, if they did not call timeout, hit a player that's going by and the ball's bouncing, or, you know, if you throw the ball like I do, either throw it over the head of the umpire or give them a grounder that, you know, the clock's running and there's nothing the offense can do because the ball's rolling around on the field. So here we go. We have 1:13 to go on a stop clock. We have second down and 8, and we got to get to the 42-yard line. So pass down the field. And here we go. We wave incomplete. Okay, because they dropped the ball. And I'll be honest with you, I think you'll see the next play that there's an advance of the ball by about 10 yards. And I'm sure there was probably a foul on the play that I'm missing. So we have 1:07 on the clock. And the ball is still at the 50-yard line. We have third down and 8 on a stopped clock. Another pass. This is the play. So here we have the wing official coming up and strongly signaling incomplete. And it appears to me that he gets information from somebody else. And you could probably see here, looks like he may have gotten a foot down. So I'm not sure, and I'm not going to speculate what happened with the crew. I'm going to make up what I think happened. Whether or not it did happen with the crew, they probably will correct me if I'm wrong. But it looks to me that information was given to that line judge by the field judge that the receiver actually caught the ball, which is fine. Our ultimate goal in these situations is to get the play right. So it shows a lot of growth and an official being humble. If they come in this strong and wave incomplete and somebody talks them off of it because A, maybe they realize they didn't see it as well as they did, and B, I give credit to the deep wing if they came in and told the line of scrimmage official, no, I saw that play from start to finish, that receiver caught the ball. Okay, that may or may not have happened in this situation, but as you'll see on the next play, we're snapping from the 40-yard line on a first down. So I'm assuming that happened, or there might have been a penalty on that situation that maybe I'm not seeing. It appears to me they called it a catch, which is fine. Okay, so now we have a stop clock with 1 minute to go in the game, and the team on offense has one timeout, and that's important to remember. So look, do we have a forward fumble? No. the referee who's ultimately responsible for that call comes in waving incomplete. And we have to be decisive in these situations. Looks like, yep, and it looks like he makes the right call. He's hitting, his arm comes forward, and the clock is stopped. That's where our eyes should go. If you are not the calling official and you realize that you see your referee call incomplete, your eyes should first go to that clock. And what I will warn you, other officials, do not mirror signals in this situation, because watch the line of scrimmage official at the bottom. You're waving incomplete just at the same time the referee is waving incomplete. What if the referee's running in to see that if the ball is fumbled? Let the person who owns the call make the call in this situation, because we don't want opposing signals. So here we go. We have second down and 10 at the 40-yard line. We know we got to get to the 30. And there's 58.3 seconds to go, and the offense calls, looks like their third and final timeout in the situation. No, I'm wrong. Let's go back. They call their second timeout. I was looking at the wrong one. So they had two. I was incorrect. So now they have one timeout with 58.3 seconds to go in the game. We know that time's getting closer. They still have shots that they can go through in the middle of the field. So he's short of the line to gain. So now we got to hurry and get the ball in. The time is running. If you're on the offensive side, you should be peeking to the coach to see if they want to use that last timeout. Umpires, yell to the players, give me the ball, because look, he throws it out, and now we got to throw it back in, that's not our fault, but let's work with the players. And then we still have the clock running, so we have third down, and we have 3 yards to go. With the clock running, one timeout, and we have a false start. Okay. We'll wind it back. Looks like we have a false start. Now it is more important than ever to do our mechanics, because if you look, the only person who kills the clock is the umpire. Time is precious in this situation. We need to fall back on our basic mechanics. Throw the flag, kill the clock, and come in, because we are very adamant with our clock operators to follow what we do. So we have false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, replay third down. So we went from a short 5 situation to a long 5 situation. Next thing you're going to want to do is go to the home coach, because at the end of this play, and I'll play this a little bit more, the game clock was running. Okay, so in this situation, the defense is not going to want the ball on the snap. They're going to want it running. So you look at the home coach and you say, Coach, do you want to use your final timeout? Because if you don't, this game clock is going to start when the referee does his signal. Okay, so be prepared and get your play in quick. If they say no, then you look at the referee and you say, we're on the wind, and that's what's happening here. The clock's coming down, and we have a long 5 situation and a pass caught out of bounds. So we can breathe again. We have 11.5 seconds. We could take a look, and we have a first down, it looks like, at the 29, 28-yard line. So we're down to 11.5 seconds to go. We're thinking they got a timeout, so they still can use the middle of the field. I got to get to we're snapping at, so we got to get to about the 19-yard line, it looks like. And then we have a pass to the corner of the end zone, which was a touchdown with 5.8 seconds to go, which, as you can see in this frame, you don't see the deep wing, which is awesome, because it's a long pass, catches it, he touches the pylon. We know that the goal line is extended for infinity, and he is in perfect position to make this call. So this is a really well executed 2-minute drill by this crew, and something that we should, continue to work on, because this is where this is where the game comes to balance at 2 minutes of the half and 2 minutes of the game. So I hope this was beneficial to you. I hope these training tapes throughout the year were beneficial to you, and good luck this last week and throughout the playoffs. And as always, please leave the comments. I enjoy interacting with you all, and if you have any other questions or comments, please contact me.